Dr. Peter Marks was the mastermind behind Operation Warp Speed, the largest vaccine project in history.
Dr. Marks, come on out.
Why should Americans trust these vaccines?
Dr. Peter Marks, who was recently dismissed from his role, was one of the most influential figures in overseeing vaccine safety at the Food and Drug Administration.
FDA staff members are like your family. The FDA is considered the gold standard regulator of medical products.
FDA officials were impressed by the trial results, praising the vaccines as exceptionally safe and granting them emergency use authorization.
The data provided by the sponsor have met the FDA's expectations.
While regulators highlighted the vaccine's strong safety profile, scientists from prestigious universities called for greater transparency in the trials and the approval process.
We have made this review process as transparent as possible.
Nothing's being hidden.
It's all open and transparent.
While promising full transparency, the FDA requested a 75-year delay in releasing the complete Pfizer data, citing a lack of resources.
A judge in Texas has ruled that the FDA cannot take 75 years to release data about the COVID-19 vaccines.
As scientists re-examined the trial data using a different approach than the FDA, they found what appeared to be a higher likelihood of potential side effects.
My name's Dr. Joseph Freeman. I'm an emergency physician and a clinical scientist. I specialize in harm-benefit analysis. Nearly all medical interventions also cause harm. So what we do typically with this is we try to compare them side by side. Do the benefits outweigh the harms, or do the harms outweigh the benefits?
Joseph Freeman and his colleagues conducted a reanalysis of the COVID vaccine trials, uncovering what appear to be risk signals associated with the mRNA vaccines.
In our reanalysis of the original clinical trial, we were shocked to learn that within the Pfizer trial, there were more serious adverse events in the vaccine group. There was 36% more, which amounts to 1 for every 555 people experienced an additional serious adverse event. And we found that the vaccines in the clinical trials themselves appeared to be at least 2 to 4 times more likely to cause a serious adverse event than to prevent hospitalization. This was clearly a very concerning finding, and we reported this, we published this, and we were able to get this done in a peer-reviewed study, and it has been heavily cited.
With billions vaccinated, millions reported health issues shortly after vaccination, including serious cases like blood clots, hospitalizations, and neurological symptoms. Many affected individuals now feel desperate, as regulators have ruled that nearly all cases are coincidental and not caused by the vaccine. Critics argue that the current system struggles to detect rare side effects and establish a clear link to the vaccine.
Our surveillance system really can only identify things like myocarditis. Our system can identify huge relative increases, like a 500% increase. Our surveillance system is unable to consistently identify harms that are happening at a 40%, 50% increase, which sounds terrible. And we have a serious problem if this vaccine is increasing heart attacks, strokes, or blood clots in the lungs, because they happen so commonly in the normal population, and they increase them just by even 20%. We are talking about tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people who are going to experience these awful events unnecessarily, and our surveillance system will totally be unable to identify them.
Large-scale studies have identified risk signals that need further investigation. Some studies have found new risk signals linked to very specific health conditions, but research is very limited.
The largest COVID vaccine study to date was just released. 99 million people from around the world.
They identified these very significant problems that were neurologic, cardiac, or hematologic issues. You wouldn't want to see these issues, right? Or you wouldn't expect to see these issues. And if you did, you'd want to see them at a low rate. There's tens of millions of people out there that are screaming from the rooftop saying that after they had the vaccine, they have suffered symptoms that have impaired their activities of daily living.
The authors of these studies declare that the benefits outweigh the harms.
We should be vaccinating as many people as you possibly can.
To everyone in the entire world.
Vaccine Super Site opens today at Yankee Stadium.
With over 70% of the world vaccinated, all the potential rare side effects could build up when vaccinating billions. So, a specific side effect could mean thousands of real cases globally, without drawing much attention.
It's quite clear that what we saw in the original clinical trials was that not one single type of serious adverse event was what occurred. It was many different types, serious adverse events, each one incredibly rare. We could say 1 in 10,000, 1 in 20,000, 1 in 30,000 increase. But when you have many different types of serious adverse events happening at a very rare rate, when you consider all of them together, your chances of having any serious adverse event become much less rare.
These rare side effects might go unreported, as doctors across the world don't believe the sufferers. This can lead to challenges in receiving proper care and support from the medical community.
So the experiences of the COVID vaccine injured, there's a lot of things that are very similar, right? You know, everybody goes to the doctor, everybody's been gaslit. The hesitancy on the government agencies to acknowledge this is also something that's similar across the globe.
After vaccination, Joel developed spinal cord inflammation that left him disabled. Before the disability, he was a respected surgeon.
Before my injury, I trusted my healthcare organizations. I trusted my federal agencies to do their job. And the FDA's mission, if you look at their website, is to protect the population from drugs and medical devices.
The government wasn't helping anyone. So we realized that if anything was going to happen, we were going to have to do it ourselves. We needed to start a legal nonprofit so we could really take our negative reactions and change them into positive action. We needed to become far more than just sad stories.
Brianne and Joel founded React 19, a science-based support group for over 39,000 sufferers, hoping the agency responsible for vaccine safety would be their lifeline.
I'm happy to start. I'm Peter Marks, Director of the Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research.
I've told Peter Marks to his face on a Zoom that he failed.
Because the agencies have not done their job on our behalf, we have people that are permanently damaged.
We struggle very diligently to try to understand safety signals.
The calls with Dr. Marks have been pretty much of a joke or a farce. He listens. He says he'll get back to us. Okay? He never does. We email him with a set of questions, never get a response. It's just wrong. They're supposed to be proactive ones that are looking out and protecting us.
These 30,000 seriously injured individuals in this one group, in just the United States, and there are countless people around the world in the same position, that there could be this cacophony of crying and suffering and pain in every corner of this country and other countries around the world, and our health authorities could simply ignore them and turn a blind eye to them. But recognizing that COVID-19 vaccines cause the harm to those individuals directly abuts the policies that these agencies are pushing. When it comes to pharmaceutical companies, all those injured people, they all stand in the way of billions of dollars of profits.
Drug safety advocates have long expressed concerns that the pharmaceutical industry wields too much power over the FDA's assessment of drug safety. These fears were renewed when FDA Director Stephen Hahn approved the COVID vaccines and then went to work at a company that helped launch the vaccine maker, Moderna. Pfizer hired a former FDA director as its new chief medical officer.
And regulators, unfortunately, have started viewing themselves not as the ones who need to assure safety or oversee it, but more as partners with the industry and getting these products licensed, developed, and pushed out to the marketplace as soon as possible. To see that in action, one need go no further than looking recently at the FDA's homepage. What you're going to see is basically an ad for the bivalent COVID-19 vaccine. The head of its vaccine division, biologics division, Dr. Peter Marks, literally put out videos promoting this vaccine to the public, telling everybody they should get it.
Vaccines are safe and serious side effects are rare. Seriously consider getting vaccinated if you're eligible. Getting a bivalent vaccine booster dose is critical.
The FDA is there to license the vaccine, to review the data and ensure it's safe and effective. It has no role in promoting the vaccine. It's not its job. But it is so far gone from its regulatory role.
The process of the speed did not compromise at all safety.
As COVID vaccines were fast-tracked at unprecedented speed, the FDA's inspections of trial sites became more crucial than ever. Instead of tightening inspections on trial sites, the agency visited just 9 out of 153 Pfizer sites and 10 out of 99 Moderna sites.
So for an emergency use authorization, we are not required to do the type of site inspections that we would for a biologics license application and a fully approved vaccine.
Clinical trial is not conducted by the FDA or by some independent agency or department. It's conducted by the pharmaceutical company seeking licensure. Pfizer conducts its own clinical trial, hires and pays principal investigators and others.
Brooke Jackson was a regional director for 2 of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine trial sites in Texas.
I wanted people to be aware of the way that these clinical trials are being run.
She became a whistleblower, and her allegations about problems at the trial sites were reported by the British Medical Journal, a respected medical publication.
They knew that they were in trouble. I warned them multiple times, if the FDA were to ever walk into this clinic right now, my experience is that this clinical trial site would be closed for non-compliance, for violations of, all the regulations that we're supposed to follow, and potentially be investigated for criminal activity. We had so many adverse events that needed to be reported that we just could not answer all of them. We were getting complaints directly from Pfizer wanting to know why patients were calling them, stating that they were unable to get a hold of the clinical trial site. The mailboxes were full, and we were just continuing to be allowed by Pfizer to enroll patients even while they knew there were these types of problems going on. If they're pushing us, they have to be pushing elsewhere. Everything that I saw, the fabrication of data, the falsification of data, the sloppiness in the way that they practiced medicine and in clinical trials, for a sponsor to allow it to continue so that they can bring a product to market first was just such an eye-opening experience.
Brooke Jackson felt the problems were ignored by her superiors. When she took her concerns directly to the FDA, she was fired from her job. The government declined to pursue her alleged fraud case against Pfizer, citing insufficient evidence. The FDA never contacted Brooke Jackson to conduct a detailed investigation.
The FDA has never inspected Bentavia's clinical trial site. This is the body that oversees our food, our drugs, and our cosmetics. We can't even get the FDA to inspect a clinical trial site. What the hell are they there for?
Please. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
During the pandemic, Dr. Robert Redfield held one of the world's highest-ranking health authority positions as director of the CDC, the very agency responsible for overseeing vaccine safety. The former CDC director has been a strong advocate for COVID vaccination, but he also acknowledges that vaccine injuries have consistently been downplayed and underreported.
There was not appropriate transparency from the beginning about the potential side effects of these vaccines. There was inappropriate decisions by some to try to under-report any side effects because they argued that would make the public less likely to get vaccinated. I do think one of the greatest mistakes that was made, of course, was mandating these vaccines. They should have never been mandated. It should have been open to personal choice. They don't prevent infection. They do have side effects.
We have very good safety surveillance systems in place where we would be looking at safety events. And if we see something,
FDA and CDC are both responsible for monitoring vaccine safety. After the COVID vaccine rollout, they witnessed in real time as their vaccine safety monitoring systems became overwhelmed by a flood of side effect reports. Peter Marks, one of the heads of the FDA, testified that the agency was blindsided by the massive increase in reports.
Dr. Marks, was the government prepared for such an avalanche of reports to VAERS?
We tried to be prepared for that.
but the avalanche of reports was tremendous, and it again required retasking people on the fly.
Here's the current VAERS report, the COVID vaccines, over 37,000 deaths. Today, by the way, 24% of those deaths reported are occurring on the day of vaccination within 2 days. I mean, total number of adverse events reported, 1.6 million.
While public VAERS reports are unverified, the FDA does not link a single one of the tens of thousands of death reports to the vaccine. In 2021, following the COVID vaccine rollout, reports soared to over 1 million, with 1 in 5 categorized as serious. Despite the large number of reports, regulators and companies state that they have reviewed the data and found no serious safety concerns.
Pfizer, after rolling out the vaccine, realized they need to hire over another 1,000 individuals to just be able to have the support they needed to process all of the injury reports. So that obviously was unexpected.
The British Medical Journal investigated whether the vaccine safety monitoring system VAERS is broken. Overwhelmed by the reports, did the VAERS team even grasp whether these vaccines were seriously harming the public? According to the BMJ investigation, VAERS reviewers did not follow up on all the serious side effect reports.
If you want to make it a true objective database, you have to get follow-up. You have to get verification of the injury.
Despite Joel reporting his serious health problems, he was never contacted by VAERS clinical reviewers, and as a result, he is missing from the adverse event statistics.
Since my injury, how many people have called me to find out how I'm doing? 0. If you look at VAERS, I'm listed as not serious. Okay, I'm disabled, I have a spinal cord injury, I have dysautonomia. Okay, I'm listed as not serious because I wasn't hospitalized and I didn't die.
The FDA should release all of the safety data they have. I was very disappointed to hear that they were planning to hold on to that till 2026. That really creates a sense of total lack of trust.
Health agencies have been slow to release crucial information on vaccine safety, even fighting legal battles, making it difficult for scientists to evaluate the potential risks of these vaccines. Due to the work of Aaron Siri's legal team, health agencies have been required to disclose a lot of crucial COVID vaccine safety information. For instance, data collected by the largest vaccine safety monitoring app revealed that thousands of users reported health issues.
What we saw was that in fact 7.7% of vSafe users reporting needing medical care after a COVID-19 vaccine. And the CDC hid that data from the public for that entire period that we were demanding it. And in fact, to today, the only way you would know that number is by looking at the raw data or going to, on the ICANN website, they created this vSafe dashboard that lets you analyze and see the data in action.
The vSafe app includes a freeform field where users can describe any health issues they experience after vaccination. Some of the accounts describe hospital visits and heart problems. You can visit the ICANN website to explore all the reports, and by searching with keywords, you'll find thousands of reports mentioning irregular heart rate, chest pain, neurological issues, and more.
We are seeing serious problems with this vaccine, and its benefits are looking worse every day. We should not be continuing to give this vaccine without new trials that demonstrate that its benefit is outweighing its harm, and these need to be well-done trials. Therefore, with that, I ask that the vaccine be withdrawn until such trials are done.
We can reasonably quickly get to the herd immunity.
It is widely acknowledged that COVID vaccines do not stop the spread of the virus.
Unfortunately, that protection against infection, which is related to transmissibility, waned rather rapidly in a matter of months.
Due to reduced protection against transmission, many countries now recommend boosters only for at-risk groups, not the general population.
Western European countries, Australia, the World Health Organization, Scandinavian countries, all target high-risk groups.
Just recently, the CDC recommended boosters for everyone, including infants. That guidance has now shifted to focus on those 65 and older and people with certain comorbidities.
In the world, we have literally vaccinated millions and millions of totally healthy children. And again, this group of people, the young people, the children, even the college students, they don't need the shots.
I can assure you COVID-19 was a very serious disease. I worked in the emergency rooms throughout all of the COVID-19 surges from 2020 on, and I witnessed many people die from the disease. Of the people who I saw who were seriously ill with the disease, every single one of them was either elderly and frail with multiple comorbidities, or there were some younger individuals in their 30s and 40s who I did witness become seriously ill, and some die who were severely obese. However, I did not personally witness a single healthy adult or child ever become seriously ill. And I've spoken to many of the other emergency room physicians that are my friends and emergency nurses, and I have not found one who has observed such a situation of a healthy young adult or a child being seriously ill with COVID-19.
Joseph's observations are supported by one of the largest studies showing that the actual risk of death from COVID-19 is quite low for healthy individuals, raising questions about mass vaccination. While it may have felt like the death rate was near 2%, it was 0.5% for those aged 60 to 69, and the risk for those under 19, it was incredibly low, just 0.0003%.
Now, to have a vaccine for this group of people who has such a rare risk of serious hospitalization is incredibly dangerous to not have perfect safety data. That means a small rate of harm, even a yet unknown rate, could easily outweigh the benefit.
Millions of kids are about to get a COVID vaccination shot.
We do want to be vaccinating the children.
There's likely an association between these two vaccines and an increased risk of a rare heart condition for young people.
We have had reports of this rare but mild myocarditis.
While studies observe that post-vaccination myocarditis is very rare and most cases resolve without known complications, some research raises concerns about the potential for heart scarring and long-term risks.
And it's very mild. Only about 2% have required any significant medical intervention.
An Israeli study found that myocarditis occurred in about 1 in every 6,600 young males following vaccination. A large-scale Scandinavian study reported the rate of heart inflammation post-vaccination to be 1 case per 5,400. In a Thailand study, out of the 301 vaccinated children, 54 had abnormal ECG findings. 7 participants showed markers of clinical or subclinical heart inflammation, and 1 of those children required hospitalization.
They found the risk of myocarditis to be 2%, 1 in 50. Well, that's alarming. Are these discussions going on in the doctor's office when someone brings their child in?
These children were found to have elevated levels of something called troponin in their blood. Now, they didn't feel anything necessarily, but heart damage, even they didn't feel that day, is something that in the next 20 to 30 years or 1 year could lead to them having a sudden cardiac death. In 30, 40 years as they get older, it could lead to them having heart failure earlier than they would have normally.
There are considerable risks to not getting your child vaccinated.
I decided to do the right thing and keep my son safe. This turned out to be the worst decision in my life. Suddenly my son was dead, and I was planning his funeral. Junior's autopsy showed that he had myocarditis. Junior was a healthy boy. I know nothing will bring Junior back, but I miss him every day. My pain is unbearable. The only thing I can do now is try to help others.
So the pharmaceutical companies are protected. We're not allowed to sue them.
The government's own COVID vaccine compensation program has an extremely low payout rate.
Let me put it this way. If I came to you and I said, hey, I got a business idea. Here's the idea. We're gonna make this product, this thing you inject into people. Wow, okay. Well, what about safety issues? Don't worry about it. You can't be sued for the injuries it causes. Okay, well, who the heck would take that product? Don't worry. The government's gonna mandate it. Wow, you mean guaranteed market? Yeah, they'll mandate it and why would they do that? Don't worry, they'll mandate it. Oh, okay. Well, but won't there still be a bunch of PR issues? Don't worry. Billions of taxpayer money will go to just repeating the mantra safe and effective over and over again, promoting your product through trusted voices.
Safety is off the table, there's no doubt. It's safe. And they're safe and they're highly effective. They're safe and effective. They're safe. Safe.
Extraordinarily safe. It's safe. It's the right thing to do. It's good for you.
We have an extraordinary safety profile, probably unlike any we've seen with any vaccine in history.
To everyone in the entire world.
All Canadians to be vaccinated.
As much as we can, as fast as we can.
We can reasonably quickly get to the herd immunity. Get to the herd immunity.
How could it be, right, that you'd have a product where you can't be sued for harm, you got a guaranteed market, they promote the product for you. It sounds unreal. So, and it should be unreal. It shouldn't exist. And the only product it exists for like this is for vaccines.
Kansas is suing Pfizer over how it marketed its COVID-19 vaccine.
5 states, including Kansas and Texas, have filed lawsuits claiming that Pfizer made false promises about the vaccine's protection and failed to fully disclose potential risks.
The Kansas Attorney General is now suing Pfizer for what he says are misleading claims the company made about its COVID-19 vaccine. Chris Kobach accuses the pharmaceutical company of lying when it called its vaccine safe and effective.
This lawsuit is simply about withholding, misleading, and deceiving the public.
But even states may be unable to sue vaccine companies, as they've been granted broad immunity under the PrEP Act, which shields them from nearly all lawsuits. This film presents a perspective on vaccine safety and injury claims. Health agencies and vaccine manufacturers continue to monitor safety data and have not identified any serious risks. Regulatory bodies around the world remain confident in the safety of these vaccines and have not made any allegations against manufacturers. Viewers are encouraged to consult their doctors and seek information from a range of reliable sources. The post-vaccination patients and COVID long haulers share a tragic fate, both experiencing neglect and helplessness.
Millions are being impacted by long COVID.
There are times where my muscles and joints hurt so much.
The solution for helping sufferers is more in-person research with those affected, like the study Brianne participated in.
A 4-year, $1 billion government study has been launched, hoping to determine why so-called long haulers are still suffering.
Yet, there has been very limited research funding from the NIH for post-vaccination issues.
There is no money being funneled in from the NIH or any of these other major places where research dollars come from to be attributed to COVID vaccine injuries. Why is that? Why isn't anyone thinking that that's a strange thing?
So I won't stop the fight for you. Yes, I will always fight for you. I will brave every attack, and I will not give up on you. I will always have your back.
They go back to the FDA, the CDC, the medical establishment, the medical institutions that all pushed them, promoted to them to take that product. And they go back and say, hey, I did what you told me to do. I followed your advice. I've got this serious issue. I've got this really bad neuropathy. And the reaction often is one of disbelief, rejection. And these people go to them pleading, often crying, and they get no help from those same institutions.
If there is something that goes wrong, you are on your own. The government isn't going to help you. The drug companies aren't going to help you. Your doctors are not going to have any idea what to do with you.
The COVID vaccine injury group, React 19, has assisted numerous sufferers in navigating the health system.
We were able to find a doctor because of React 19, and that's how Maddie was able to see a doctor that was able to do the right tests and gave her the correct diagnosis, so she was able to get the correct treatments.
React 19 also provides financial support to cover medical expenses for injured individuals who are often bankrupt due to their medical condition.
We deal with people that are financially devastated all the time. That's why one of the 3 pillars of our organization is our care fund, which gives grants to up to $10,000 for people for uncovered medical expenses. But I can't tell you how many times my heart has been broken. I look at every application that comes in for our care fund. We look at their finances, and it's typically, retirement account 0. Savings, 0. We have people that are living in their car. They couldn't pay their rent, they couldn't pay their mortgage.
React 19 relies on donations to provide support for the injured, work towards solutions, and address costly legal battles.
The community of people that are like me that I have learned and have connected with is the most beautiful community. I have a new family now. It's my injured family.
If this film matters to you, please share it and help start the conversation. For official guidance, visit the website of your regulatory agency and consult with your healthcare provider.